Good morning, second grade. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone is having a great morning. You can see I'm still in bed. I hope you guys are ready to get started and get ready for your day. I have not gotten a lot of messages about when I can call you guys this week, so make sure you get those to me so I can check in with you guys. You know, I love talking to you. I sent out a message yesterday with our link for our Zoom meeting that is later tonight. It is at 5:30. Okay? So, you guys know how to do that. If you do not and you have questions, let me know. I will have a book that you guys love very much ready to read at the end of our Zoom meeting. And I think that's it for announcements. Today, you guys are going to read pages 12 through 15 in Introducing South America. You guys know what to do. Complete the assignment on weather, and then complete the discussion favorite continent. You guys have learned about, 3 different continents now, so tell me which one's your favorite. And complete 30 minutes of independent reading. I only have 5 friends that have done their iReady minutes so far, so make sure you are trying your best to get those done. All right? Okay. I'm going to read another chapter in Because of Winn-Dixie. And now Opal has one friend, right? It's Franny. Let's see. Chapter 8. Winn-Dixie's bald spots started growing fur, and the fur that had to begin with starting looking shiny and healthy and beautiful. And he didn't limp anymore, and you could tell that he was proud for looking so good. Proud of not looking like a stray. I thought what he needed most was a collar and a leash, so I went to Gertrude's Pets, where there were fish, snakes, mice, lizards, and gerbils and pet supplies, and I found a real handsome red leather collar with matching leash. When Dixie was not allowed to come inside of the store, there was a big sign on the door that said, "No dogs allowed." So I held the collar and leash in the window, and when Dixie, who was standing on the other side of the window, pulled his lips and showed me his teeth and sneezed and wagged his tail like something furious. So I knew he absolutely loved that leash and collar combination. But it was very expensive. I decided to explain my situation to the man behind the counter. I said, "I don't get enough allowance to afford something this fancy, but I love this collar and leash, and so does my dog. And I was thinking that maybe you could set up an installment plan." "Installment plan," said the man. "Gertrude!" someone screamed in a real irritated voice. I looked around. It was a parrot. She was sitting on top of the fish tanks looking right at me. "An installment plan," I said, ignoring the parrot. "You know, where I promise to give you all of my allowance every week, and you give me the leash and the collar now." "I don't think I can do that," said the man. He shook his head. "No, the owner wouldn't like that." He looked at the counter. Down at the counter, he wouldn't look at me. He had thick black hair, and it was slicked back like Elvis Presley's, and he had a name on his tag that said Otis. "Or I could work for you," I said. "I could come in and sweep the floors and dust the shelves and take the trash out. I could do that." I looked around at Gertrude's Pets. There was sand and sunflower seed shells and big dust bunnies all over the floor. I could tell that it needed to be swept. Said Otis, and he looked down at the counter some more. "Gertrude!" The parrot screamed again. "I'm real trustworthy," I said. "I'm new in town, but my daddy's a preacher. He's the preacher at the Open Arms Baptist Church of Naomi, so I'm real honest. But the only thing is, when Dixie, my dog, he would have to come inside with me because if we would get separated for too long, he starts to howl like something terrible." "Gertrude doesn't like dogs," said Otis. "Is she the owner?" I asked. No. He finally looked up. He pointed to the fish tank. "That Gertrude, the parrot, I named her after the owner." "Gertrude's a pretty bird," screamed Gertrude. "She might like Winn-Dixie," I told Otis. "Almost everyone does. Maybe he could come inside and meet her, and if the two of them get along, then I could have the job." "Maybe," Otis mumbled, and he looked down at the counter again. So I went out, and I opened the door, and Winn-Dixie came trotting into the store. "Dog!" screamed Gertrude. "I know it is," Otis told her. And then Gertrude got real quiet, and she sat on top of the fish tank and cocked her head from one side to the other, looking back at Winn-Dixie, and Winn-Dixie stood and stared back at her. He didn't hardly move. He didn't wag his tail. He didn't smile. He didn't sneeze. He just stared at Gertrude, and she stared at him, and then she spread her wings out real far and flew and landed on top of Winn-Dixie's head. "Dog," she croaked. Winn-Dixie wagged his tail just a tiny bit, and Otis said, "You can start on Monday." "Thank you," I told him. "You will not be sorry." On the way out of Gertrude Pet's, I said to Winn-Dixie, "You are better at making friends than anybody I've ever known. I bet if my mama knew you, she would think you were the best dog ever." Winn-Dixie was smiling up at me, and I was smiling down at him. And so, neither one of us was looking where we were going, and we almost bumped right into Sweetie Pie Thomas. She was standing there, sucking on the knuckle of her third finger, staring into the window of Gertrude Pet's. She took her finger out of her mouth and looked at me. Her eyes were all big and round. "Was that a bird sitting on that dog's head?" she asked. She had her hair tied up in a ponytail with pink ribbon, but it wasn't much of a ponytail. It was mostly a ribbon and a few strands of hair. "Yes," I told her. "I seen it," she said, and she nodded her head. She put her knuckle back in her mouth. "I seen that dog in church, too. He was catching a mouse. I want a dog just like it, but my mama won't let me get no dog. She said if I'm real good, I might get to buy a goldfish or one of them gerbils. That's what she said. Can I pet your dog?" "Sure," I told her. Sweetie Pie stroked Winn-Dixie's head so long and serious that his eyes drooped half closed and drool came out of the side of his mouth. "I'm going to be 6 years old in September. I got to stop sucking on my knuckle once I'm 6, said Sweetie Pie. "I'm having a party. Do you think you might want to come to my party? The theme is pink." "Sure," I told her. "Can this dog come?" she asked. "You bet," I told her. Then, all of a sudden, I felt happy. I had a dog. I had a job. I had Miss Franny Block for a friend. I had my first invitation for a party in Naomi. And it didn't matter that I came from a 5-year-old and that the party wasn't until September. I didn't feel so lonely anymore. And that's the end of the chapter. It looks like Opal is starting to make some friends and kind of find her place in Naomi, which is kind of fun. And it's all because of Winn-Dixie, right? He was able to help. So, that is where we're going to stop today because that's the end of the chapter. So I will read you guys another chapter tomorrow. And I hope you guys have a great day and you get your work done and then you guys can get on the Zoom call later tonight. Bye!